The secret to great flavor is not inside the meat. It's on the surface. We often believe that the inherent quality of a piece of beef or chicken, the true transformation, the moment where simple food becomes something deeply satisfying and complex, happens right on the top layer. Think about the last time you ate a truly memorable steak. What do you remember most? It is likely the dark, savory, slightly crisp exterior. That crust is not just a textural element, it is a concentrated layer of pure, unadulterated flavor, created by a specific and crucial process. It is the delicious proof that what happens on the outside is just as important, if not more so, than what is happening within. When you place a piece of meat into a hot, heavy skillet, your senses are immediately engaged. You hear that unmistakable, aggressive sizzle, a sound that promises good things to come. You see the surface begin to rapidly change, shifting from a pale, flat red or pink to a mottled, rich, and appealing shade of brown. Soon after, a complex and deeply roasted aroma begins to fill the kitchen. These sensory cues are not incidental. They are the direct signals that a powerful chemical transformation is underway. They tell you that you are not merely heating the meat. You are actively creating new flavors that did not exist before. This browning is where the magic lies, where simple sustenance is elevated into a culinary experience. Let us dispel a common myth right away. This browning is not simply the meat getting cooked or slightly burned. It is a specific, constructive chemical process. So, what exactly is this magical browning process? It has a scientific name, but the idea behind it is straightforward. Chefs and food scientists call it the Maillard reaction. Just say it slowly, Maillard. It might sound complex and intimidating, like something you would only hear in a chemistry lab, but you can think of it as a flavor-making event. This reaction is the beautiful result of heat interacting with the building blocks of food. Specifically, it is a chemical reaction between amino acids, which are the components of proteins, and certain types of sugars called reducing sugars. When these two components are heated together, they rearrange themselves into brand new molecules that we perceive as delicious. Imagine the surface of a raw steak. It is covered in proteins and contains a small amount of natural sugars. On their own, at room temperature, they do not do much, but when you introduce them to high heat in a relatively dry environment, they begin a frantic dance. The amino acids and sugars collide, break apart, and recombine in hundreds of different ways. This process creates a cascade of new compounds, each with its own unique aroma and taste. It is not just one reaction, but a whole web of them, happening simultaneously. This is why the smell of a searing steak is so complex. You are smelling dozens, if not hundreds, of newly created flavor molecules at once. To make the Maillard reaction happen, you need two essential ingredients: heat, a lack of excessive moisture. The reaction really kicks into high gear at temperatures above what water can achieve when boiling. Water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius, but the Maillard reaction needs temperatures of around 300 degrees Fahrenheit, 150 degrees Celsius, or higher to get going properly. If the surface of your food is wet, all the heat energy will be used up turning that water into steam, effectively pinning the surface temperature at the boiling point. The surface will never get hot enough for the amino acids and sugars to start their flavor-generating dance. This is why patting your meat dry before searing is not just a fussy step, it is a scientific necessity for flavor. Think of the Maillard reaction as a tiny flavor factory that operates on the surface of your food. The raw materials are the proteins and sugars already present. The energy source that powers the factory is high heat. The main thing that can shut down the production line is too much water. When the factory is running at full steam, it churns out an incredible array of products, molecules that smell toasty, nutty, savory, meaty, and even slightly sweet. These are not flavors that were hiding in the meat all along. They are brand new, created in that very moment by the powerful and transformative chemistry of cooking with high, dry heat. Pan searing, grilling, roasting, deep frying, they all rely on a medium, hot air, hot metal, or hot oil, that allows the food surface to become very hot and very dry. In every case, the goal is to overcome the temperature-limiting effect of water. Dry heat for flavor, wet heat for tenderness, the perfect partnership. The term browning might sound singular, but the flavors it creates are anything but simple. The Maillard reaction isn't just one taste. It unleashes a vast, complex spectrum of flavor and aroma compounds. Visualize a symphony orchestra. Each newly formed molecule is a different instrument. Some notes are savory, some notes are meaty, some are nutty, some are toasty, some are sweet, some are caramel-like, some are earthy and deep, like coffee or dark chocolate. This diversity is what makes browned food so compelling. Bite into a perfectly seared steak. You're not just tasting beef, you're tasting hundreds of distinct compounds working in harmony. The crust delivers powerful roasted notes, contrasting the milder, juicier interior. That contrast is why the brain finds it deeply satisfying. Steamed meat, tender but a simple, lonely flute. Browned meat, the full orchestra in concert. Bread crust versus soft crumb. Roasted coffee beans versus green beans. By controlling heat and moisture, you're the conductor. To truly grasp what is happening on a chemical level, let's move away from the lab and think in terms of a more tangible metaphor. Imagine the surface of a piece of meat is a vast construction site, flat and undeveloped. Scattered all over this site are two types of building materials: piles of bricks, stacks of wooden beams. In their raw state, they are just separate piles of materials. They have potential, but they do not form anything interesting on their own. This is your raw steak uncooked chicken breast. The potential for flavor is there, but nothing has happened yet. Now introduce the construction crew and their powerful equipment. This is the heat. When you place the meat in a hot pan, it is like a huge crew of energetic workers swarming the site. They are not gentle. They start grabbing bricks and beams and begin furiously building new, complex structures. A brick might be joined to a beam, which is then connected to another brick. They are not following a single blueprint. It is a chaotic and creative frenzy of construction. Hundreds of different, unique little structures begin to pop up all over the surface. Each one of these new, randomly assembled structures is a flavor molecule. The presence of water on this construction site is like a persistent, heavy rainstorm. If the ground is soaked, the heavy machinery gets stuck in the mud, and the workers cannot move efficiently. The temperature on the site cannot get high enough because all the energy is being spent just trying to dry up the puddles. This is precisely what happens when you try to sear a wet piece of meat. A dry surface is like a clear, sunny day at the construction site. The crews can work at maximum speed and flavor construction proceeds at a blistering pace. The final result is that the once flat and uniform surface is now a bustling city of complex, varied structures. This is the brown crust on your steak. It is texturally and chemically different from the undeveloped land beneath it, the interior meat. When you take a bite, your palate explores this new city. Nutty-tasting buildings, savory-flavored towers, caramel-scented parks. After exploring the science, the methods, and the metaphors, we arrive at a conclusion that is as simple as it is profound. We can boil it all down to a single, fundamental truth of cooking. If the surface of your food does not undergo this browning transformation, then the deep, roasted, and complex flavors you crave will simply not be created. You can cook meat perfectly so that it is tender, juicy, and safe to eat. You can boil vegetables until they are soft, but without the Maillard reaction, the food will taste incomplete. It will be missing its soul. Think of all the foods we love most. The crisp, salty skin on a roast chicken, the dark, almost burnt edges of roasted Brussels sprouts, the deep brown crust of a well-made loaf of bread, the savory sear on a pork chop, the rich color of caramelized onions. The common thread that links all of these delicious experiences is browning. It is the unifying principle behind so much of what we consider to be good cooking. So, the next time you are in the kitchen, remember this law. Pat your meat and vegetables dry with a towel before they hit the pan. Do not be afraid of a hot skillet and the sound of an aggressive sizzle. Give your food enough space in the pan so it sears instead of steams. Have the patience to let the crust develop before you feel the need to flip it. See that browning not as an accident or a sign of burning, but as a deliberate and essential step of flavor creation. You are not just applying heat, you are conducting a chemical reaction that is the very source of deliciousness. This is the great dividing line in the culinary world. On one side, there is heating. On the other, there is cooking. No browning, no flavor.